You're producing barely an ounce when you pump. Your baby seems hungry all the time. You're panicking, wondering if you're starving your child, and you're one Google search away from switching to formula even though you desperately want to keep breastfeeding. If low milk supply is consuming your thoughts right now, you need to hear this. I'm Dr. Michael Brennan, a pediatrician who spent 18 years helping mothers through exactly what you're experiencing right now. I know this feels terrifying. I know you're exhausted, overwhelmed by conflicting advice, and questioning everything about your body's ability to feed your baby. By the end of this video, you'll understand what's actually happening with your milk supply, the specific steps that genuinely work to increase production, and most importantly, the truth about whether you actually have low supply. Because here's something most doctors won't tell you up front. 75% of mothers who think they have low milk supply actually don't. But for those who do, there are proven solutions that work. Let me show you how to figure out which group you're in and what to do about it. First, I need you to hear something important. You are not failing your baby. Low milk supply anxiety is the #1 reason mothers stop breastfeeding, and the emotional weight of this is crushing. Every time your baby cries, you wonder if they're hungry. Every time you pump and see minimal output, you feel broken. I've had mothers come into my office in tears, convinced they're inadequate, when their babies are actually thriving. This fear is so common that researchers estimate 60% of mothers worry about their supply at some point. You're not alone in this struggle. And whether you have genuine low supply or perceived low supply, both deserve attention and solutions. The stress alone can affect your milk production, creating a vicious cycle. So let's break that cycle right now. This doesn't make you a bad mother. Your body isn't defective. And there are clear, actionable steps we can take together. Now, let me explain what's actually happening with milk production, because understanding the biology helps you work with your body instead of against it. Breast milk production operates on a simple but powerful principle: supply and demand. Your breasts contain milk-making cells called lactocytes, and these cells respond to one thing above all else: emptying. When your breasts are emptied frequently and thoroughly, they receive a biological signal to make more milk. When they stay full, they receive a signal to slow down production. It's that straightforward. Here's what triggers this process. Every time your baby nurses or you pump, you're removing milk and decreasing pressure in the breast. This signals your brain to release prolactin, the hormone that tells your milk-making cells to produce more milk. You also release oxytocin, which causes the letdown that actually moves milk through the ducts. Think of prolactin as the production manager and oxytocin as the delivery driver. You need both working properly. Now, true low milk supply falls into two categories. Primary low supply affects only 2 to 5% of mothers, and usually results from medical conditions like insufficient glandular tissue, thyroid problems, PCOS, or previous breast surgery that damaged milk ducts. These mothers genuinely cannot produce enough milk no matter what they do, and they need medical support and often supplementation. Secondary low supply is far more common and happens when something interferes with the supply and demand process. Maybe the baby isn't nursing effectively due to tongue tie or poor latch. Maybe you're not nursing frequently enough. Maybe you're using a poorly fitting pump. These situations can absolutely be fixed. But here's what most parents don't know. The vast majority of low supply is actually perceived low supply. Your baby cluster feeds for 3 hours straight, and you assume you don't have enough milk. But cluster feeding is normal behavior, especially in the evenings. You pump 2 ounces and panic, but pump output doesn't accurately reflect your supply. Babies are far more efficient at removing milk than any pump. Your breasts feel soft and empty by week 3, but that's just your body regulating production efficiently, not a sign of decreasing supply. So, how do you know if there's genuinely a problem? There's one reliable indicator: your baby's weight and diaper output. A baby who's getting enough milk will have 6 to 8 wet diapers per day by day 5 of life, regular bowel movements in the early weeks, and steady weight gain, about 4 to 7 ounces per week in the first few months. If your baby is meeting these markers, your supply is sufficient, regardless of how it feels to you. If they're not meeting these markers, we need to take action. Let me show you exactly how. Let's start with immediate actions you can implement today to increase your supply. These work for both genuinely low supply and for mothers who want to boost production for pumping or building a freezer stash. I'm going to give you specific steps, and I want you to commit to following them consistently for at least 5 to 7 days before evaluating results. Step 1. Increase feeding frequency to 8 to 12 times every 24 hours. Your goal is nursing or pumping sessions every 2 to 3 hours during the day, and at least once at night. I know you're exhausted. I know the idea of more frequent nursing sounds impossible. But this is the single most effective thing you can do. Here's why timing matters. Prolactin levels are highest between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. That's when your body is primed to respond to milk removal with increased production. That middle-of-the-night session might feel like torture, but it's also your most powerful supply-boosting tool. If your baby is sleeping longer, stretches at night, and you're concerned about supply, set an alarm for 3 a.m. and pump for 15 to 20 minutes. Your future self will thank you. Step 2. Empty your breasts completely at each session. For nursing mothers, this means letting your baby nurse until they release on their own from the first breast, then offering the second breast. Don't watch the clock. Babies are incredibly efficient in the first 10 to 15 minutes, but those extra minutes of comfort nursing continue signaling your body to produce more. If you're pumping, pump for at least 15 minutes per session, continuing for 2 to 3 minutes after you see the last drops of milk. This extended emptying tells your body, we need more capacity here. Use breast compressions during nursing or pumping. Firmly squeeze and hold different areas of the breast to help drain more completely. You'll see more milk flow when you compress. This makes a measurable difference. Step 3. Add power pumping sessions. Here's a technique that mimics cluster feeding. Once per day, preferably in the morning when prolactin is higher, do this pump pattern. Pump for 20 minutes, rest for 10 minutes, pump for 10 minutes, rest for 10 minutes, pump for 10 minutes. That's 1 full hour. This concentrated stimulation sends a powerful increased production signal to your body. Most mothers see results within 3 to 5 days of daily power pumping. Schedule it during your baby's longest nap or when you have help. I recommend doing this in the morning between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. for maximum hormonal advantage. Step 4. Optimize your pump settings and fit. If you're pumping regularly, this is critical. Are you using the right flange size? Your nipple should move freely without rubbing the sides, and you should see some areola tissue pulled in, but not too much. Most pumps come with 24 mm flanges, but many women need 21 mm or 27 mm. Incorrect sizing reduces milk output by up to 50%. As you can see on screen, the proper fit looks like this. The nipple-centered, comfortable movement, no pain. Also check your suction level. It should feel like a strong pull but not painful. If you're wincing, it's too high. The highest suction doesn't mean the most milk. Find the sweet spot where it's effective but comfortable. Step 5. Support your body nutritionally. Milk production requires about 500 extra calories per day. You cannot restrict calories significantly and maintain full supply. Your body will prioritize your survival over milk production every time. Eat when you're hungry. Stay very well hydrated. Aim for at least 80 to 100 ounces of water daily. You'll notice you're thirstier when nursing. That's your body's signal. Keep water bottles everywhere. Some mothers find traditional galactagogues helpful. These are substances believed to increase supply. Oatmeal, brewer's yeast, and flaxseed all have some supporting evidence. Fenugreek is popular, but it doesn't work for everyone and can cause digestive upset. Start with real food options first. Now let me give you a progressive strategy for the next 2 weeks. Week 1, your only focus is frequency and complete emptying. 8 to 12 sessions daily. Track your pumping output if you pump, But don't obsess over the numbers yet. Your body needs consistent signals before production increases. You may feel more engorged by day 4 or 5. That's a good sign. You might also feel more letdowns throughout the day. Expect your baby to seem hungrier initially. This is them responding to more available milk by nursing more, which then signals even more production. It's a positive cycle. Don't interpret increased hunger as failure. Week 2. Continue the frequency, but now pay attention to output if you're pumping. You should see a 20 to 40% increase in pump output by the end of week 2 if you've been consistent. Your baby should have longer stretches between nursing sessions and seem more satisfied after feeds. You'll notice heavier wet diapers. The diaper should feel substantially weighted. If you're not seeing these improvements by day 12 to 14, it's time to consult a lactation consultant. They can assess latch, do a weighted feed, and check for issues like tongue tie that interfere with milk transfer. Let me give you 3 different approaches based on your parenting philosophy, because there's no one-size-fits-all method. The gentle approach. You prioritize baby-led feeding, respond to all hunger cues immediately, co-sleep or room share to make night nursing easier, and you nurse for comfort as well as nutrition. You never watch the clock. This approach works beautifully if you can manage the intensity. Your baby regulates your supply naturally. The middle ground. You nurse on demand during the day but establish some predictability. Nurse 8 to 10 times daily on a loose schedule. Add 1 to 2 pumping sessions if you need to boost supply faster, and you set a reasonable bedtime routine. This works well for mothers returning to work. The structured method. You follow a more scheduled approach, nursing every 3 hours during the day, doing 1 dream feed at 10 p.m., and letting baby sleep longer stretches at night after 6 weeks if they're gaining well. You add pumping sessions to maintain supply. You prefer predictability. All 3 approaches are valid. Choose what aligns with your family's needs and your stress levels. The best approach is the one you can sustain. Now, I need to be very clear about when low milk supply requires immediate medical attention, because some situations are urgent. Call your pediatrician within 24 hours if your newborn has fewer than 6 wet diapers by day 5 of life. Your baby hasn't regained their birth weight by 2 weeks. Your baby seems lethargic, has no energy to nurse, or has a weak cry. Your baby's soft spot appears sunken, or you see no dirty diapers after day 5. These indicate dehydration or insufficient intake. Go to the ER immediately if your baby is unresponsive or extremely difficult to wake. Your baby's lips or skin appear blue or gray. Your baby has a fever over 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit and is under 3 months old. Or you see no tears when your baby cries after 2 months of age combined with poor feeding. These are emergencies. This is normal and expected. Don't worry if your breasts feel softer after the first few weeks. This is regulation, not loss of supply. Your baby wants to nurse constantly some days. Cluster feeding is normal behavior. You pump less than your baby drinks. Babies are more efficient than pumps. Your baby seems fussier in the evenings. This is the witching hour, not starvation. Or your letdown feels less dramatic after a few weeks. You're just adapted now. Here's the distinction. Consistent measurable problems with weight gain and diaper output indicate true supply issues. Everything else is usually normal variation that doesn't require intervention beyond the boosting strategies I've already given you. Let me tell you about the most common mistakes that actually decrease supply or waste your time and energy. Mistake 1. Supplementing without a plan. The moment you give formula, you reduce demand on your breasts, which signals them to make less milk. If supplementation is medically necessary, that's absolutely fine. Fed is best. But don't supplement out of anxiety without first confirming there's actually a problem. If you do supplement, pump every time you give a bottle to maintain the supply signal. Mistake 2. Scheduled feeding too early. Newborns need to eat every 2 to 3 hours, often more frequently during growth spurts. Following a rigid schedule in the early weeks often creates genuine supply problems. Your body needs frequent stimulation in those first 8 weeks to establish robust production. Mistake 3. Skipping night feeds too soon. Even if your baby sleeps 6 hours straight at 8 weeks, your breasts might not be ready for that gap yet. Going too long between feeds, especially at night, reduces your overall daily milk removal and eventually decreases supply. If your baby sleeps long stretches before 3 months, consider one pump session during that window. Mistake 4. Relying only on supplements or tea. Fenugreek, blessed thistle, and lactation cookies cannot compensate for infrequent nursing. They're helpers, not solutions. Save your money if you're not also addressing frequency and emptying. Mistake 5. Comparing yourself to other mothers. Your friend pumps 8 ounces per session. You pump 2. This means nothing about your adequacy. Pump output varies wildly and doesn't predict your nursing supply. Stop torturing yourself with comparisons. Your baby's growth is the only relevant data point. Now let's talk about realistic expectations, because I don't want you to expect perfection and then feel defeated. Most mothers who consistently apply the frequency and emptying strategies see noticeable improvement within 5 to 7 days. You'll feel more frequent letdowns, your baby will seem more satisfied, and if you're pumping, you'll see more output. But here's what no one tells you. Improvement isn't linear. You might have a great day followed by a frustrating day. You might see progress then hit a plateau. Your supply might dip during your period or when you're sick or stressed. This doesn't mean the techniques failed. It means you have normal hormonal fluctuations. What does success look like? For most mothers, success means your baby gains 4 to 7 ounces weekly, has plenty of wet diapers, and seems content between feeds most of the time. Not all the time. Babies cry for many reasons, but most of the time. You might still nurse frequently. You might still have fussy evenings. That's normal baby behavior, not supply failure. If you're pumping for work, success might mean pumping 12 to 15 ounces across 3 sessions, enough to cover the next day but not a massive freezer stash. Social media makes it seem like everyone pumps huge amounts and has freezers full of milk. Most mothers don't. You're seeing the highlight reel, not reality. There will be setbacks. Teething decreases nursing efficiency temporarily. Colds make babies nurse poorly for a few days. Travel disrupts schedules. When this happens, your supply might dip slightly. Get back to frequent emptying, and it bounces back within days. This is not failure. This is normal biology responding to changing circumstances. I know right now this feels overwhelming and maybe impossible. You're looking at this list of strategies and thinking, I can barely manage basic survival and you want me to pump every 3 hours and track output? I get it, I really do. But I promise you this is temporary. The intense focus on supply usually only needs to last 2 to 3 weeks. Once you've established strong production and your baby is gaining well, it gets easier. You can relax. You can stop tracking everything. Pause. I've worked with thousands of families. The vast majority who commit to consistent, frequent feeding for 2 weeks see real improvement. You are not broken. Your body is remarkably responsive to the right signals. Give it time, give it consistent stimulation, and give yourself permission to ask for help. This is one of the hardest things you'll do, and you're not supposed to do it alone. So here's your key takeaway. Milk supply responds to frequency and emptying above everything else. If you do nothing else, nurse or pump 8 to 12 times daily for the next 7 days and watch what happens. Now I need you to do me a favor. Click the like button if this was helpful, and subscribe so you don't miss my next video on overcoming breastfeeding pain, because low supply and pain often go hand in hand. Drop a comment below with your baby's age and your biggest breastfeeding challenge right now, and I'll personally recommend the best next steps for your situation. If you're also struggling with getting your baby to latch properly, watch my video on that next. I'll put the link on screen. Thank you for trusting me with something this personal and important. You're doing an amazing job, even when it doesn't feel like it. Now go implement what you've learned, and I'll see you in the next video. This video is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice. Always consult your pediatrician or a certified lactation consultant for guidance specific to your situation.